When I started transition all those years ago, I thought life would change the second I took estrogen. However, I found myself kind of doing the same thing I always did, right? And this became a problem because I thought, what was the point? What was I getting out of this, right? There was a step I missed. The part where you go outside. I feel like trans videos don't emphasize this enough, but taking the estrogen is a massive part of transition. However, you still gotta put yourself out there in order to reap the benefits of transition. And that's what this video is about. So thus began my journey to head on to the outside world. So my early medical transition was during the we're not allowed to go outside era. So I kind of had to stay indoors. And I noticed really quickly that a lot of the benefits of transitions, more so what it enables you to be able to do rather than the effects in isolation, right? For example, sports. I was not into sports when I was little because I felt uncomfortable in boys' sports teams. However, shockingly, once I could go out into the outside world, I had a big interest in physical activity. It's fun. Opportunities to get more into dancing, to get more into basketball, just whatever, right? I did ice skating lessons. Really quick into transition, I was doing ice skating lessons. That felt impossible a few years ago. Me willingly going to early morning practice for a sport, that felt really foreign to me. However, transition really helped enable that because before, doing sport meant doing sport as a boy for me, and that didn't feel comfortable. So it actually, weirdly enough, restricted my hobbies, right? I didn't feel comfortable in a physical activity environment, so thus I didn't engage with it. And that kind of stinks because sport and physical activity in general is really good for you. I recommend doing some kind of hobby that keeps you active and moving because it's really important for your overall well-being, right? I found my overall mental health basically skyrocket once I started doing like regular physical activity, right? Presenting as a girl made me feel more encouraged to try these things, right? Doing ice skating lessons, getting more into dancing. I did running at one point. I used to do like a 2K run every single morning. It was a really fun time, actually. Would I have done that without transition? No, of course not. There's always those images you would find online that have a picture of an anime girl and a bunch of exercises next to it of promising like the perfect femme body or whatever. And exercises can help your body look a bit more like you want to. However, the main benefit of doing exercise is usually just how you feel on the inside. It just feels nice. You just feel nice. So this video is very encouraging of any activity you find fun to get fit. It doesn't have to be at a gym because gym memberships will probably steal your soul or something. No, instead just find something fun. You can literally just like look up a YouTube video of someone dancing, copy along. Sure, it's physical activity, gets you moving. Heck, go for a walk. You can go for a walk. You can, even as you're listening to this video, you can go for a walk. No one's stopping you. Another thing with transition is once you transition, you actually want to be, well, seen as the gender you're transitioning as. The thing with gender is gender's something you do rather than something we innately are. So if no one's really seeing you as a gender, like in a literal sense, no one's seeing you because you're inside, you actually don't get that much opportunity to express gender, right? Now, it's less about what other people think. It's more about just being able to express yourself, right? In an environment where you're being yourself. Simply being able to go to a shopping center or a mall for American viewers and dressing in clothing that's gender affirming for you, it's pretty cool. I highly recommend it. Go to a restaurant on your own. No one's stopping you. It's actually really fun. I started going to movies on my own. That was fun. I do restaurants. I'll go bowling by myself. It's just fun. I was doing all these things that I felt like were impossible before. I just felt more joy going out, right? Because I think like pre-transition, going outside means a lot of dysphoria because, you know, you're going to get misgendered. You're going to have people say things that don't feel affirming, that kind of thing, right? Once you've gone over the mountain of transition, what you'll find is that going outside will be more fun. I'm not saying it's going to be a magical sunshine experience out there. There's a lot of bad people. However, if you find your group, your people, so to speak, going out becomes really fun. Finding people that like you relate to, whether it's your hobbies, your interests, or just your values, right? I find it really cool being able to like go do like mini golf or something, or bowling or something with a group of people that understand my experience. That's cool. I highly encourage seeing if your local area or anywhere kind of near you has LGBT events of any kind. It's just nice to go to these. Probably one of the craziest things I've done since transitioning was starting to go to dance parties. Now, I've danced for a long time. However, as I transitioned more and more, I gained a bit more confidence. And then suddenly, I'm at dance parties dancing on the dance floor. I didn't see myself doing that. Pre-transition me would have never done that. I think when you're pre-transition, you just avoid anything that would give yourself extra attention, and you start to attribute that to your personality. For example, if your entire life have been very indoorsy, played video games or like other indoor hobbies, and you're a bit stereotyped as someone that doesn't go outside, it's probably pretty easy to stay that way because you view that as a definitive attribute of your personality. Now, there are people that like certain types of hobbies, and there's ways to be able to go out there and do them, right? There's events at like either card shops or video game tournaments, so you can still do your indoorsy hobbies with other people. So there's a balance, right? You just gotta find the right amount of going out that suits your lifestyle. Unless your lifestyle is scrolling through social media and arguing with people all day, that doesn't sound very fun. I discourage that greatly. If you've been stereotyped as a non-sporty person that stays inside, chances are a lot of that is to do with our dysphoria, right? With dysphoria, we feel less encouraged to go out there and do things, right? So you might find a little bit of friction within doing these things now that we have transitioned, because we're like, well, we didn't do it before. You might get a weird comment or two being like, oh, you weren't interested in that kind of thing. A sport? You? What? I know the first time I went to a party, everyone's like, are you sure? Because I was not stereotyped as someone that would do that. However, it's your life, like, do what you want. I think so much of trans community and culture centers around how indoors we are as trans people. And like, I don't think that's the full picture, right? Understand there's an inherent bias that if you're on social media, you're talking to people who are also on social media. So if there's trans people that are never inside and they're always out doing stuff, you probably won't hear from them very much because they're climbing a mountain or something. We get a bit of a skewed outlook of what being trans is, and we feel a sense of conformity that we have to be indoorsy video gamers that enjoy Magic the Gathering in order to be trans. Now, if you like those things, epic, you know what I mean? But don't feel like you have to just because you're trans. I mean, this nerdy trans girl stereotype did not exist a few years ago. Like at all. I remember in high school, I typed, can I still be trans if I like video games? And the answer is, yeah, that's fine, if you want that confirmation. But understand you don't have to be limited to like one interest just because you have another interest. Interests don't conflict. That's not how hobbies work, right? You can enjoy video games and also enjoy competitive surfing. Like, it's fine, it's just do what you want. However, if we transition and not change any aspect of our lifestyle and stay inside and not really interact with people, that's not very fun, right? One of the gifts of transition, in my opinion, is how it enables and empowers us to go do all the things we always wanted to do. The things we felt like we couldn't before. The things we felt that the social world around us is preventing us to do due to dysphoria. There's a lot of things I didn't do growing up because of dysphoria, right? It's a bit hard to tackle that head on, right? I would have loved to do competitive dancing or like a basketball team, that kind of thing. I'm sure I would have, but at that time I didn't feel like I could do that because dysphoria was being a bit of a bully and beating me up. I did do travel before transition. However, funny enough, when I traveled, that's when I got a lot of my gender affirming clothing. I was sneaky about it, I guess. I traveled somewhere, got a bunch of skirts, came back, right? So, it was kind of me prepping in a way. However, the way I approach holidays and travel changed a lot too. I notice I talk to more people, I will interact with more random people throughout my time. I'll be a bit more adventurous, I'll try new things. I started going to like theme parks a few years ago by myself, specifically the Gold Coast theme parks in Australia. They're probably the best roller coaster theme parks we have, and I love them a lot. I found out I was a bit of a hardcore theme park fan, surprisingly, which I knew I liked them, but I didn't think I was this hardcore. right? I didn't expect myself in the future to be standing in front of Jet Rescue at SeaWorld and going, did you know this is the first double launch coaster in Australia? It's really cool. For my own self-indulgence, here's a list of my favorite theme park attractions in Australia. I recommend all of them, they're great. Anyway, going to a theme park by myself, chilling at the beach by myself, doing like a dolphin encounter where I went into the water and swam with a dolphin and got to spin around in a circle with the dolphin. I wouldn't have done that if I was pre-transition at all. I feel like a holiday like that, I would have went on a few rides for a few hours and kind of went back to the hotel room to recharge, I guess. Pre-transition, I found myself really getting out of my comfort zone and heading on out there and doing all the things I always wanted to do. Whether it's ice skating lessons for the first time, going bowling on my own, because why not? Or dancing at a party for the first time. Maybe going on a holiday by myself, enjoying the beach, and also making friends when I try university again. That was something that felt pretty hard to do. Going to university again after it being so long since the first time. It's empowering. The transition can enable us to do these things we thought were impossible, right? Now, obviously, this video has a bit of a tongue-in-cheek way of saying touch grass, right? I know it's like a meme phrase, right? Everyone says touch grass like jokingly. However, as unironically and as polite and kind as possible. I encourage you, lovely audience, to touch grass. However, it doesn't have to be to prove anything to other people. I encourage it merely so you can do the things maybe you've always wanted to try. Maybe touching grass won't bring joy, and that's fine. But you owe it yourself to at least try it. It's important to just do the things that make you happy. And if you feel like you're the kind of person that can't go out there and do something, I want to reassure that you can. If there's a sport you want to try, or maybe there's like an activity you want to do, maybe a social thing you always wanted to do, all sorts of things. You can do it. Now, nothing's easy. There's tears. The first time I did an ice skating lesson, I was too scared to go in. I was like sitting under a staircase crying. But I came back. The second time I did the lesson. It wasn't easy, but I did do it. Going out of your comfort zone, it takes steps, right? And incrementally, you find yourself getting closer and closer to what you want. So understand that this isn't easy, but I will say, as wholeheartedly as possible, touching grass has been one of the most impactful aspects of my transition. And I'm thankful every day that I'm in a position where I can present in girly clothing and head on out there and do stuff. It's really cool. There's so much cool stuff to do in the world. And I hope you get the opportunity to do what you want to do. If there's an activity you really enjoy doing in the outside world, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to read them. This is a pretty big topic, so there's a lot of stuff I didn't mention, but I hope it sufficed and I hope it brought joy. You can do anything you set your mind to, and you're valid, and I am proud of you. I know it's not the easiest thing, especially the world these days, but I think the most empowering thing we can do is to find joy in the little moments and find things that bring us fulfillment and happiness. And that's the video, lovely audience. If you want to see more videos from me, be sure to hit the funny subscribe button, ring the bell in case I get smited by the algorithm. Feel free to comment something you enjoyed about the video, or even suggestions for future videos, because I do read them. I read every single comment. It takes a while, but it means a lot to me to get all these comments and this opportunity. Be sure to hit the funny like button. There's apparently a thing called hyping a video. I actually don't know what that does. But feel free to hype the video, I guess. Why not? We'll find out what it does. As always, stay hydrated and know that you are valid. I'll see you next week. The water flicked in my face.